Hi, this is Doug Boone, and this video is part of the instruction series for PetroVisual. In this video, I will demonstrate using the query control. PetroVisual includes a powerful query tool that allows you to ask questions about your ARIES data using simple English commands. To get to a new query, you would say Add New Query in the navigation tree. You now have the option to select which database or table that you want to query from. These are all the tables that we use in PetroVisual. Typically the one we would use for our general queries are the ARIES properties and emerge of the one lines. You'll see listed now in all the fields that are included in both the properties and one line tables. You also see that there's headers for these values, so you can collapse or expand, try to find those values as quick as you can. In this case, I know that there are some different scenarios. My simplest query can be just click on the box next to the show all. By clicking the dot dot dot, I will get a panel that comes up that shows all the scenarios currently used in this particular database. I'm going to select the current and the DML queries and say OK. And you can see there are the counts in the database of the wells that meet those criteria of those queries. By saying OK, we now see that it says in the list of and gives us these two queries. Here I can click on the dot 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 next to operator, and here are all the operators that are in the database that are part of those two queries and the record counts for those operators. By clicking on this top count, I can get it to descend and then to ascend ORT for me, so you can see that most of these are in the enter plus operator. You can also see that enter plus can be in there several different ways in the database. We can manage this several different ways. One is to click all the enter plus entries, or another way we can do it is look at the simple English-like commands associated with in the list of, not in the list of, top, bottom is null, show all, equals, less than, greater than, many English-like commands. What we will look at says contain. And if I type in here, enter plus, and hit my test, you'll see that 458 records come back saying that those will meet the criteria for the enter plus. Now there's three different data types within PetroVisual. There's text, there's dates, and there's values. So we could just as well move down to one of the things that are in the one line table, which is present worth values, and look at values here. If I come and select my boxes, you'll see I get the greater than, less than, equals, between, contains, and the list of. But I can also say come here and let's see everything that's greater than $60,000. And when I put the test together, you'll see that then I've got 455 records that meet those criteria. Anytime I could clear that current criteria or clear all the criteria. And as soon as I'm ready for my query, all I have to do is give it a name and say add. Now when I press the grid button, you'll see that every property that was brought in the header information is in fact associated with the query we just did. If we come back and change this query, all the controls, all the tabs that would be tied to that would be updated with that query. There are two new features within the PetroVisual query screen. The first one allows us to summarize very large data sets. This can be done sometimes when we have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of wells and you particularly don't need all the data. But we want to capture that data by operator and then by field. We can do that and then go back and select the data fields we need. There might not be all of them, but the ones we want to have that are critical for the analysis that we'll be looking at. Here we'll look at ultimate oil and ultimate gas, remaining oil and remaining gas. At this point I can do the test button, and this shows you that 50 records shown up, and here's the records that we would see in that particular database. Much smaller footprint. The second feature is that we can actually switch into advanced query mode. What this allows us to do is add multiple filters, and in the filters we can logic that gets us down to specify about anything we need to, and actually putting logic in those queries.